What's going on, guys? Northeast Style Farmer here with another tremendous video that I'm getting ready to put before your eyes, so that way you can see just what we are doing on the farm today. But before we go any further, I would like to simply ask you guys to hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss any videos that I upload on this YouTube channel. And two, I'd like to invite you as well to hit that bell icon right next to the subscribe button, so that way you don't miss when I upload a video, whether it be yearly, monthly, every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, every other day. You get the idea. So that way you can get a notification on your mobile device, whether it be your phone, your tablet, whatever, that I've uploaded a video. Even the birds are saying, let's get with the video, so let's just do that. Well, we're gonna make an attempt to plant oats today. I feel it's a little cold out too, but maybe oats don't care what the temperature is. It's just, I don't know, but we're gonna make an attempt to plant oats. And the 7810 is a tractor choice for the 1590 no-till grain drill. You don't have to disc your fields before you plant. You can just plant and keep moving on. The only tool that we have is that Salford, and I will go over that in a little bit of here. Getting the down pressure set right on the grain drill, so that way we can have constant flow and plant the oats accordingly. Got that ready to go from Pete shoes up at 3 o'clock, so he can go plant the oats. The reason for planting the driveway like we did is so that way we can walk right down the rows here and see that way that every row has seed. If every row didn't have seed, that would indicate to us a problem. We could correct the problem before we get in the field and go, why ain't this thing planting? There's a problem. It's better to correct the problem now versus in the field when you are ready to go. I was wrong earlier. You want to plant the oats in March. Basically because oats are a cold-blooded crop. They like when it's cold. There is a better visual aid of how a grain drill works in the driveway. Now, obviously, this won't come up in the driveway, but it does the same thing as planting over there on the asphalt pad. You can see if your seeds have, or your rows right here have seed in them, and they do, for that matter. It is working very, very nicely. Use the markers to judge where to keep the hood ornament on the tractor. Line the hood ornament up with the mark on the marker when you come right back down. And it will do a really good job of spacing out how far away you need to be on your next land or your next pass back down. That's why they put markers on grain drills and corn planters, so you know where you are, and that way you're not wasting seed by overlapping or not being too close to where you need to be where you were previously. A couple of things that I wish John Deere would have changed on this, but I'm sure there's probably a reasoning behind this that we don't know about, is you would kind of expect the acre counter to be over in this vicinity right here or over there, kind of on the same spot. But nope, they gotta put the darn thing right there. Well, you cannot see it from standing out here. You got to crawl in here. That's another thing. Pete made these steps up so you can get in over top of this here, so you can grease the hayseed side. That's what this small little hopper here is with the seed tubes is, so you can plant hay. And well, there's no good way to get over top of this thing without standing on your head. I mean, you still got to stand on your head, but it just makes things a little bit easier having a step to get up on to get in here to grease the thing and to look at that little tiny pint size acre counter, which I kind of miss the acre wheel that the Sukup grain drill had that we had prior to this. I think that was before I started doing YouTube. Had the no-till coulters that sat out here, kind of like the Salford. And then it had the disc openers in the back. You could unhook the coulters and just do away with them, set them off to the side, and use the thing like a 3-point carrier. That's what we did for a little bit that I can remember, was having the 40-20 on just the back end of it. But this is completely different. It's got a dolly wheel, and I still haven't found a grease fitting for these markers. I am still looking ever so hard for a grease fitting for these, but I'm unable to find one that feels like that might have some seepage right there. But I still can't find a grease fitting on them. I'm looking ever so hard. But I mean, the back end ain't bad to grease. It's just this up here. I mean, it would be different if there was a grease bank here to grease them on the one side, a grease bank, and then a grease bank on the other side to grease the other side. But hey, you know, each manufacturer is not perfect. They're people just like you and me. Got the 1750 all ready to go. That is married up to the John Deere 7800, a perfect match. Now you guys are probably asking yourselves, why not have the 7810 on that corn planter? And that's a very good question, because that's too nice of a tractor to be let on the grain cart anymore. It can do light duty things like, well, not light duty things. It can plant corn, make the hay, mow the hay, I mean. And the 6120 that's peeking out over there can ted the hay, rake the hay. And the John Deere 7200 can bale the hay, round bales and square bales. Or this can run the, I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest with you. It's kind of just gonna be a whatever kind of deal. That is married to the Salford John Deere 8300 1997, and that's gonna sit right there until we need to work ground. Got a lot of corn to plant, so we'll be it was time to upgrade planter from that little 6-row. We tried planting that out at the 400 acres or so that we have out a ways from home here, and it took too long with the little 6-row basically to accomplish what we needed to get done in a timely manner. So again, we prayed for a bigger planter, and this is what we've been blessed with, is a 12-row instead of 6-row or an 8-row, which I'm unfamiliar if there's such a thing as an 8-row planter, but I'm pretty sure there is. We're just not aware of it. But this is what we have to work with here. Same thing as the grain drill. It's got the markers on it. This folds out that way, swings, wraps around behind itself. There's a couple functions you got to do up in a cab. I don't know what they are to unlatch this thing to get it to swing out of the way. To operating position, this is stowed for transport for going down the road. And it is basically one of those tools that you better make darn sure that you got a good, reliable tractor on deck. Just basically because of all of this mess here. And you don't want to be... There's basically no hoo-ha way to go from one tractor to another, because that John Deere 6120 does not have this here, this bar, this bracket, this stuff here. Everything is a bunch of giblets and stuff that are up in the cab. There's 2 different monitors, a toggle switch, and a whole other bunch of hoo-ha stuff. Just to plant corn. I didn't think we would be getting this technologically sophisticated in farming, but I mean, it's what has to happen, I guess, if you want to play with the big boys. Now, since we're talking about sophistically technological advances in farming like this John Deere corn planter, we might as well talk about this John Deere 8300 and how, well, with it being a 1997, you would think the first thing that comes to my mind is there is actually, to my surprise, a mechanical fuel gauge in it compared to an electric fuel gauge like the 7800, 6120, John Deere 7200, 7810, that are all new, or I should say older than 1997. I haven't the slightest clue why we have gone backwards with technology, but I mean, it is what it is, and I'm kind of thankful for it. I jumped in the thing out at the faraway field, and I was like, holy crud, there's manual water temperature gauge, a manual fuel gauge, just what is happening? And I'll show you just what I mean by a manual fuel gauge here. You can clearly see how these gauges are stuck, mind you. Well, that is a manual fuel gauge. There's a needle in there. When you turn the key on,
so that they could do it, and he trusted.
Did you guys see it move? It moved. The reason why these gauges were stuck was because the operating temperature, they were in the operating temperature where they need to be. You can see they excited or did their thing. And you don't get that with electric fuel gauge or just gauges in general. Now, with that being said, I'm thankful for manual gauges. I feel like we're going backwards instead of forward. It's definitely, like I said, a step backwards from the manual or from the electric gauges. That is a step in the direction of technological advances in farming, like I said, with all the computers, the mess of wires, just to make the thing plant corn out. A lot of you guys don't know this, but this is just basically a John Deere 7000 on steroids. it's two 7,000 6-row corn planters combined into one. There's 6 rows. The other side is 6 rows. 6 rows there. 6 rows on from here over to the front corner. There's your 6 rows. That's all the more that this thing is just, like I said, a 6-row corn planter on steroids. And there's how you drive the thing. It's ground driven. That wheel there spins, the seed comes out via that chain there. Runs all the gears and everything. And we have oiled it. Oil is your best friend in farming, for those of you that are unaware. You'll thank me later for that. Once you get an oil can in your hand and you go around and oil door hinges and things that squeak and make noise, and you'll thank me later. There's not really any differences other than that's got a nitrogen tank up front there. And that's basically all the difference that it is. It basically does the same thing as the grain drill. Although the grain drill is controlled spillage. Meaning, every so often, this corn planter will drop a seed right in the trench. Now, whereas the grain drill is, seed just goes right in the ground. When the grain drill touches the ground, that seed's going right in. There's no distance in between seeds, but there is a setting on the drill where you can set your rate of drop for the seeds, or how many seeds you want to plant per acre. It's not a controlled spillage, or it's not controlled like the corn planter is. That's the only difference between the two. Farmer Peter showed up. He's going to go on ahead and start planting oats. I don't know where he's going. Oh, he's going around that way there. So he's gonna go plant the oats, and I guess Dad and I are gonna go bag the oats. There was snowing this morning. There was pretty good flakes coming down. Now there's blue skies. So he's gonna go plant the oats, and yeah, that's basically, the oats are gonna go in the ground. They're gonna get watered and fertilizer, and things will start happening.